So, I have a confession. For most of my life, up until pretty recently, I was not a cat person. I know, it's shocking. Please don't call the internet police. FBI, open up! I just never grew up with cats, and when I did encounter them, I didn't see what the big deal was. So I decided cats were officially out and dogs were my favorite animal instead, because everyone knows that when you're a kid, you just have to pick at least one animal and make it your entire personality. As a self-proclaimed dog lover and cat-neutral stance, but also kind of scared of them, feeler, I decided to avoid cats if I could and just spend most of my childhood on the internet instead. But little did I know that I would not find solace on the web, because anywhere I turned online, they were there. And I learned early on when I was younger that the internet was made for cats. And if you've been online, like, ever, which unless you're getting this video beamed directly into your head, I assume you have been, I'm sure that you've noticed this too. The World Wide Web is full of virtual cats, real cats, cat songs, memes, games, inescapable BuzzFeed listicles full of lolXD random relatable cat gifs, and of course, the beloved and infamous cat videos. This was so noticeable to me when I was younger in the early 2000s because I wasn't really into them myself, but even if I did like cats, they would be impossible to miss. And even now, in a post-keyboard cat era, which is what I usually use as a reference for the passing of time, the web is still ruled by these creatures, just in new and evolved ways. Sure, there were and still are plenty of memes about dogs and any other animal really, but nothing that quite matches the scale of the internet cats. And I want to take a look at these online, feline. I want to take a look at all the cat stuff that's on the internet as a retrospective, an homage, an investigation into what makes cat culture so great. Who are they? Where did they come from? Are they really as funny and entertaining as everyone makes them out to be?
Brother, this guy
And maybe you're also wondering, why now? The sorry, that's not becoming a thing. All of this cat-related media has been around for years. Why am I only just now deciding to look back on it? Well, despite initially choosing the way of the dog, my anti-cat mentality lasted me up until about 2 years ago when my defenses finally fell, and I too joined the cat lovers, recruited by my own fuzzy little man who has the ears, the paws, a tail, and all the other fun cat things that are just too irresistible to not take at least 10 pictures of a day. How did he get his head so small? And why do I want to squeeze it so bad all the time? So, while I find cat culture fascinating on its own, I'm also going into this deep dive with, for the first time, a true love for cats as majestic creatures. I'm sure I overlooked tons of cat content over the years because I didn't get the relatable aspect of it or just wasn't really interested, and I want to see what I missed out on when I was out of the loop. And I also just want to look at a bunch of cute cats. So with this newfound understanding and appreciation for them and my own special fat little tub of sour cream, it's an affectionate term, I'm ready to strap on my cat ear headphones, say the word cat at least another 200 times, and properly delve into the world of internet cats. I think it's worth going back to the beginning, or at least the earlier years of the catdom, as we'll call it, to really understand the foundations of cat-related humor, content, and general enjoyment. Though it is hard to pinpoint an exact start to such a huge phenomenon. Some people think cats have been attached in emails since the 90s, while some people are sure that the first one was this Japanese ASCII Gecko cat from 1999. And who could forget the cat content that first took off in the early 2000s, like Serious Cat, Lime Cat, Ceiling Cat, and even the flash game Castle Cat. But no matter where it all really started, and while there was other cat content spread along the way, I theorize that most of our current day cat humor has evolved from the legendary cat videos. While nowadays, I think of the term cat videos in relation to kind of cringy boomer humor or millennials trying to be quirky and relatable, it's still undeniable that cat videos are the foundation of the catdom. Love them or hate them, they're everywhere, both now and even on YouTube back in the very first year that it was launched and still gaining traction. Cat videos in the beginning weren't usually very long or, frankly, very exciting. There were a lot of laser pointers, cat toys, and a Roomba or two, with a lot of videos in between being 10-second clips of cats just laying there. But as much as I want to judge that a little bit, I now personally have even longer videos of my cat doing the same thing, so I get it. Even when there isn't a lot going on though, there is still something so charming about watching some fluffy little creatures chase toys or flap around like dummies in crisp 240p, and it's these earlier internet videos that really set up the basics of cat content to come. Cats are cute, cats are funny, cats are random, and cats are sassy. It's not like YouTube's first cat videos invented these concepts or anything, but I think they really laid out the groundwork for the long future of the catdom to come. 2007's Keyboard Cat is one of the first videos I can remember that not only went viral, but hit a lot of these key components or catponents of a good internet meme. He's got the floppy paws, the glare, the talent, the drip. Truly a legend in his field. Keyboard Cat is funny, cute, random, and a little bit sassy all in one. And aside from all of the analytical aspects, Keyboard Cat is arguably just a really good, funny video that still holds up now. And if that's cringe to say or too hot of a take, then I don't ever want to be cold. Or whatever. His unmatched musical prowess,
She's really good.
mixed with the fact that his name was canonically Fatso and was filmed back in 1984, all add to the unmatched joy I feel when watching him play. 2007 is also the year that we were blessed with another iconic and even more widespread cat meme format, the Lolcats. If you've somehow never encountered a lolcat, then first of all, you're missing out. Not because they're even objectively funny, though I may beg to differ, but because of the lore. The internet was made for this kind of meme format, and while 2007 was still a sort of growth and transitional period for the web, it still managed to grab hold of and thrive on lolcats. I was pretty young in 2007 and was way more engrossed in the recently released cinematic masterpiece High School Musical 2 to really think much about these pictures floating around everywhere. But even though I didn't spend much time on forums and message boards, I still saw them everywhere. To define what a lolcat is, it's a cat meme, but not just any meme, a very specific kind of cat meme. Start with a picture of a cat, preferably in a silly pose, with a goofy expression, or just especially cute. Add some iconic top text, bottom text, translate to lol speak, and bam! You have the perfect meme format. Accessible, easy to understand, and multiple angles of appeal. I never thought I'd be breaking down and explaining the fundamentals of lolcats, but here we are. But lolcats wouldn't have evolved or possibly even existed without the comedic gold that is I Can Has Cheeseburger. The smiling star of this meme, Happy Cat, is really what sparked this new era of cat content, not only by inspiring other people to make their own sensational cat memes, but by giving the internet a website to create them through. Named after the iconic meme by the original creator, the website gave users a template to make any lolcat they could think of, not only popularizing them further, but raising their rank on the meme food chain, if that's a thing, from meme you would see sometimes because cats are kind of funny, to internet legend, oh my god, these things are everywhere, none of these cats know how to spell. These weren't just regular cat pics or a predictable video of one chasing a laser pointer. These were full of style, humor, and personality, each picture carefully curated and each word intentionally misspelled with only the funniest of wrong letters to create each cat-themed work of art. While there were other cat memes like Hover Cat and Business Cat that seemed to kind of evolve from the lolcat format itself, and while a cat wearing a little business tie does make me giggle, I would argue that they didn't quite take off in the same way, and maybe because they weren't quite as versatile. You can find every genre of cat meme in a lolcat. the cute ones that play into their big eyes and little faces, the sassy, personified cats that play into the established joke that cats want to rule the world and you are just a puny human that feeds them and that they kind of hate. And this might just be me, but this kind of humor always makes me cringe for some reason. I don't know if it's just overdone or what. I think maybe it's that I could never relate to the joke without ever owning a cat growing up myself, and I still can't relate to it now, because my cat loves me a little too much and would simply perish if no one refilled his special water cup, the only thing he'll drink out of, every hour because he spills it all when he drinks, and tucked him in under his blankie at night. He's very special. Aside from being cute and sassy though, lolcats were of course especially great for being funny and random. Making a smiling cat want a cheeseburger but with the wrong grammar and bad spelling? Now that is funny. I know I'm being a little sarcastic here, but cats plus lol speak really was a perfect combination for not just internet users and meme culture, but the comedic standard at the time. Alongside YouTube sketch comedy, rage comics, and other internet relics like this, lolcats fit right in and really solidified the catdom's place online. I was actually surprised that I found myself laughing at a lot of these memes when looking back on it all for references, most of the time though, ironically and sort of with disbelief, because it's just fascinating to think that while they weren't everyone's cup of tea, this was a very popular and acceptable form of comedy at the time, where nowadays most people would see it as dated and cringe. Especially ones like this, oh my god. But I also found that sometimes they actually were kind of funny, and I can't tell if it's because of my nostalgia and personal history with them, my newfound love for cats, or just my broken sense of humor and finding Invisible Bike Cat funny in an ironic kind of way. But I kinda like lolcats, and I'm only slightly embarrassed to say it. Whether or not you can find the humor in them, they're still a huge part of internet culture overall, and of course, an important era in the catdom and its evolution. So with cats having more of a clearly established place on the internet through their own dedicated websites and I eated cookies, image macros, cat culture started to evolve even further during what I like to call the cat renaissance. While during the earlier years, there was typically one type of cat content that ruled over all the others in terms of popularity, past 2007 and especially into the 2010s, there were tons of new kinds of cats appearing all over the place. There didn't really seem to be just one specific meme or genre that stood out overall, though cat content did tend to favor cartoony styles and more random humor, which was pretty popular at the time, speaking from experience. There were more flash games popping up like Cat Mario, basically just a rage bait game with silly random occurrences and complete with a face, and one of my personal childhood favorites, Sushi Cat. This game was also pretty quirky and random, between the round jiggly ball of a cat, the different outfits you can dress him up in, and the storyline of his quest for a cat girlfriend. So epic. Pusheen was another cartoon cat that started appearing in a comic series in 2010, where he's seen being relatable and silly as a cute little cat-shaped blob. Lolcats definitely didn't just disappear during this era either, though the I Can Has Cheeseburger website did apparently hit its all-time peak in 2007, after which they gradually fell out of popularity. The monkey cat did have somewhat of a following in 2013. I don't know why I said it like that, like he's a celebrity or something. But as weird and goofy as Monkey Cat was, if he even counts as a cat, he was nothing compared to this internet legend. I feel like Grumpy Cat needs no introduction, but if you've somehow never seen this smushed, angy little face, the explanation is all in her name. Grumpy Cat is grumpy. That's it. That's the joke. Not to diminish the sheer power this little creature had during the early 2010s. I think because the joke is so simple, fits the established running joke of cats being sassy, and because she's so unique looking, it just made for the perfect format to make any kind of Grumpy Cat meme you could dream up. You didn't even have to search for the perfect fitting cat picture this time. Just take the original image, type something somewhat relatable or sarcastic, and of course, hilariously grumpy. And you've got it, peak 2012 comedy, especially when it was tied in with other pop culture of the time. I will admit that even though I could see the appeal of other cat memes, I never really understood the appeal of Grumpy Cat. I found the same picture and general joke to be repetitive and mostly unfunny, though I was in middle school and in my emo Tumblr girl phase during its popularity, so that might explain some things. But to apparently almost everyone else, they just could not get enough Grumpy Cat. So much so that she headlined an entire empire built around her likeness. An empire filled with not just tons of memes and Facebook likes, but merch. And not just merch, which mostly consisted of Grumpy Cat's face on seemingly every kind of product that a merch company would offer, but games, books, a Webkinz, coffee, and even a feature-length film with Grumpy Cat herself voiced by Aubrey Plaza.
They don't even make paintball guns for cats.
Get out of here, British Grumpy Cat!
All of that just from one little cat with an underbite. Even though I used to not really like her, I found now that I'm older with a cat of my own, I don't really mind Grumpy Cat altogether. She might still be overhyped and mostly unfunny. Sorry. But she can't help what people write above and below her little face. She's just tiny. Actually, tinier than I thought. I had no idea that Grumpy Cat had a form of dwarfism that made her very little and at least 10 times more cute. Also, her real name was Tartar Sauce. Finding out the government names of iconic meme cats years later might just be one of my new favorite hobbies. With my new bias towards cats in general, and because of her being certified little and cute, I don't care anymore if her memes weren't that funny. Tartar Sauce did a great job just sitting there looking special, and for that, she deserves some recognition. So yeah, I think Grumpy Cat was pretty cool overall. I think she had some pretty great— Whoa! What was that? A bird? A plane? A cat with a Pop-Tart body shooting out a rainbow while flying through space? Oh, it's Nyan Cat! That was my third guess. While Grumpy Cat was popular for her relatable humor and sassy attitude, Nyan Cat was basically its antithesis. It's colorful, it's random, it's kind of obnoxious, and best of all, it'll probably get stuck in your head, even if you don't really like it. Nyan Cat was one of the first viral videos that I personally remember talking about and engaging with outside of YouTube. Talking and laughing about it with my friends at school because I just loved this little guy. And if you would have asked me why, I don't think I could have come up with a better reason than because, well, it's random. Cat, rainbow, Pop-Tart, space. Name a more iconic quartet. The original Nyan Cat was a 3-minute and 37-second video of the same animation on loop, while Nyan Cat's fast-paced theme song played in the background. And that was the whole thing. For the culture at the time, especially among younger kids, this was iconic. Some people liked to intentionally annoy people with it, or just found the song catchy, but I think what was ultimately the best part of Nyan Cat is that it was popular for basically no reason. It was weird and silly, and whether you actually liked it or loved to hate it, almost everyone in 2011 knew who this cat was. One time in my 7th grade English class, a kid centered his entire project assignment around Nyan Cat, and then could barely get through his presentation in front of the class because he was laughing so hard as the video played on screen. I have no idea what the point of the assignment was supposed to be, but if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about Nyan Cat's popularity and cultural significance at the time, then I don't know what will. Nyan Cat merch was of course inevitable, though it didn't seem to grow quite the cat-based empire that Grumpy Cat did. I would argue that just the sheer staying power of the video and all of its variants, memes, and spin-offs, which now include official collabs with Steve Aoki and Snoop Dogg, was where its true power came from. There was even a Grumpy Cat Nyan Cat crossover at one point, which is such an early 2010s time capsule on its own. Even though it was really popular during its time, Nyan Cat seemed to mostly die off with the peak of random culture, and you'll only really see it now if you encounter someone who bought an official Nyan Cat NFT for some reason. And I get it. There's only so many ways you can spin the same 30 seconds of music and looped animation until it gets a bit stale. but when revisiting Nyan Cat for this video, I definitely still felt some residual love for this little guy and his obnoxious neon legacy. Although cats who can't spell and flying Pop-Tart creatures can be pretty fun, most pop culture trends just can't last forever. And in the case of internet cats, their place online doesn't seem quite as strong as it once did, which leads us to the modern era. Modern cat content seems to be a lot more understated. There is definitely still tons of cat content out there, and you will see it pretty often, but there are less super popular cat memes that really take off. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, a lot of people would go as far as to reference the internet as the place to look at funny cats, or some variation of that at least. But now that the web is even more ingrained in everyone's daily lives, the reign of the catdom has kind of taken a back seat to the vast amounts of other online content that's out there. Because internet humor and meme culture have evolved into this complicated amalgamation of stuff that doesn't really tend to favor one specific type of comedy overall, funny cats aren't really regarded as one of the core defining features of the internet anymore. Where the majority of internet users in the late 2000s could look at a picture of a cat asking for a cheeseburger and all agree it was funny, there's now not only these new types of cat pictures that may appear and disappear too quickly to keep track of, but each one with their own type of use and direction for humor that just doesn't make them universally funny. Bongo cat is random, while polite cat is cute. Muscular cat is more funny, while you're scaring me cat is more sassy. With so many niche corners of the internet, there's a lot more people creating their own sense of humor instead of following a trend, which leads to honestly more cat content than ever before, but also less of a direct genre or type of comedy. I know I'm probably getting a little too deep into analyzing what are just a bunch of pictures of animals that people decided to put silly words and sound effects over. Maybe I'm the only one that finds this stuff interesting. I don't want this to seem like I'm diminishing the modern era cats that have become popular though. I would even say that some of the best cat memes have come from this era, like Confused Cat at Dinner, whose name is apparently Smudge, which is incredible. Coughing Cat, Crying Cats, Half Cat, the Chonk Meter, and who could forget Fat Standing Cat, undeniably the basis for at least a handful of sleep paralysis demons out there. Even Garfield, who doesn't originate online but still has his own niche of fans, and games like Cat Quest, Cat King, and Stray are all essentially descendants of the online cat content of old. My partner and I are personal fans of who I would call Sour Cream Cat, and this one TikTok trend that plays What Is Love by Hadaway, and I'll just show you an example. I don't really have an explanation as to why that's funny, but it just really tickles us for some reason. TikTok in general has popularized some interesting cat memes on its own, but they're sometimes a little more, niche. While all of these memes were and still are clearly popular, they aren't really the meme superstars that once were. Less phenomenal and usually just a drop in the meme bucket compared to Five Nights at Freddy's, Among Us, and that guy who always sings numbers in the outdoors.
44, 45.
Cats online have also become not just vessels for strange Smurf-based or Chick-fil-A sauce-related humor, but elements that people connect to being cozy or kawaii. Think Pusheen, which has grown into a huge brand since the 2010 comic strips, Neko Atsume, the cat collecting game, or even the sleepy cat in the Lo-Fi Girl stream. These are all an example of a new catponent that's added to the mix. Cats are aesthetic. I think the best example of this has to be the rise of kawaii and Japanese-inspired cat content over the last few years especially, where cat ear headphones and cat paw mousepads reign supreme. You won't really see a piece of kawaii cat culture or a deep-fried Garfield meme being referenced in much pop culture outside of the internet though, which for one I'm glad for because I'm so exhausted by seeing brands use outdated memes to try and be hip and cool with the kids. But to me, this also just marks the end of an era where cats weren't just on the internet, but were the internet. I'm only a little bummed about missing out on the true appreciation of the catdom that brought us where we are today. Some of it maybe wasn't the greatest or really all that funny, but regardless, I'm ready to now finally accept my fate as an awakened cat lover and assimilate. Plus, one of the best things about the web is that even if legends like Lolcat and Grumpy Cat are mostly a thing of the past, they're still always easily within reach somewhere to look at and reminisce, or maybe huff out of your nose in a slight laugh at. Tell me about your favorite piece of cat content in the comments. There's so many that it's just impossible to cover them all. I have a lot to catch up on. Even though their place online isn't quite as bold and overstated compared to what it once was, I've found that I still love and appreciate every online cat just for being themselves anyway, even if they eated some of my cookies. Hi, welcome to JellyTV, where I shout out a video that I think deserves some love. I recently watched I'm Obsessed with These Terrible Video Game Records by KK Clue, and I just thought it was so fun. It's all about these retro video game records that are both really strange and really fascinating. I love that KK Clue clearly has a passion for this very niche type of collection, and they put a lot of care into detailing its weird history. I recommend checking out this video even if you're not really into video games or vinyl. It's just a fun watch regardless. A huge thank you to Daniel E. from ABQ, Kevin Evans, Brett Morgan, Bunzo, Vindicano and Irise, Hayden Campbell, Johan Ake, Lily Puff, Lucy Likes Tegan and Sarah, Mark Kent, M. Wee, Oliver E., Paper Sam, Pixel Puppy, Sarah, Shaples, Starbit Illustrations, Steely Dan Rather, Theodore Nicolailius, Vivian Valencia, and the rest of my patrons for supporting me. Max and I are proud to behold all of you as my perfect patrons. I really lasted the whole video without making that pun. Oh well.